Cricket, and at close of play on the second day of the first test in Nagpur, India are 136 for 1 in reply to England's first innings total of 393. England's batsmen resisted stoutly this morning, but won't have been cheered by the news that their injured captain, Michael Vaughan, is out for the whole series. Joe Wilson reports.
In Nagpur in March, you have to learn to live with the heat or be crushed by it. The signs are that England are starting to enjoy the conditions here. Paul Collingwood produced his best test match innings to date as England transformed their fortunes. For company, he had only tail-enders. But then tail-enders are not supposed to bat as well as Steve Harmison can. When he fell, the score was up beyond 300, but there was more to come. Collingwood went on the attack, pummeling the Indian bowling. His test career has been stop and start, often a popular but unsung squad member, so his century was a moment of personal triumph and collective pleasure.
It was a great relief for everybody as well in the dressing room and the management, because I've been waiting for that for a long time.
When England went out to bowl, the success was almost immediate. Virender Sehwag smashing the ball straight to Kevin Pietersen. But that's where the wicket stopped as India regained their composure. Jaffer and captain Dravid bringing them back into the match with a century stand. Well, so far in 2 days, just 11 wickets have fallen here, so bowling out India cheaply on the third day will be tough. But as Paul Collingwood has proved in cricket, patience is often rewarded. Joe Wilson, BBC News in Nagpur.
From England's bowlers, here's Joe Wilson.
Day 3 in Nagpur and England off to a flyer. India's captain Rahul Dravid gone LBW. Next out, Wasim Jaffer safely held by captain Flintoff. The very next ball, Lakshman trapped in front of the stumps. 3 wickets in 11 balls for Hoggard. Monty Panesar has been cheered all over India. Now England's first Sikh player claimed his first wicket. Tendulkar of all people, Panesar's boyhood hero. Well, straight after lunch, it was the Hoggard-Flintoff combination again. India 7 down. Hoggard had taken 5 wickets.
It's vitally important that we got off to a good start this morning. We went out there to put patience into practice and just try and get as many balls as we can in the right areas.
Well, Matthew Hoggard's wickets certainly put England in a strong position, but as the day wore on, back came India. Now Mohammad Kaif led the resistance. He and Anil Kumble took India past 300, but as the shadows lengthened, Harmison forced Kumble to edge to slip. And Panesar, persistent to the last, grabbed the prize wicket of Kaif. Joe Wilson, BBC News, Nagpur.
Cricket fan, it was another good day for England in the first test against India in Nagpur. Alistair Cook made a century on his debut, putting England in a strong position going into the final day. They closed on 297 for 3. That's a lead of 367. Here's Joe Wilson.
England needed to be busy with time left in the test running short. Hoggard obliged, ending the Indian innings in his first over. With England 70 ahead, opening batsmen Strauss and Cook safely took them to lunch in their second innings. But when Strauss and Bell fell, it was down to Pietersen to provide the acceleration. His innings came to an end on 87, one flamboyant stroke too many, but he'd done his job. Now it was left to Alistair Cook to round things off in style. A week ago, he was in the air somewhere en route to Nagpur. Now he has a century in his second test match innings after 50 in the first.
What a test debut. 60.
Hasn't really sunk in yet. Obviously delighted to have scored 100 and I don't know, words can't really describe what I feel at the moment. I'm just going to let it soak in and just enjoy the moment.
Well, a tour which began with so many problems for England is now awash with positives. If they can bowl out India here on the final day and win the match, well then that would be the perfect finish. Joe Wilson, BBC News, Nagpur.
The cricket and the second test between India and England in Mohali has come to life after 2 days of heavy interruption by rain. England captain Andrew Flintoff top scored with 70 to haul the tourists to a respectable 300 all out, and he later produced a delivery that dismissed Indian star batsman Sachin Tendulkar for just 4. India will resume the fourth day on 149 for 4. Ian Bell's stunning catch removing Yuvraj Singh for the last wicket of the day. And
upper hand going into the final day of the second test against England in Mohali. Indian captain Rahul Dravid made 95 out of their first innings total of 338. He was bowled by Andrew Flintoff, one of 4 wickets for the England all-rounder. But leg spinner Anil Kumble struck 3 quick blows towards the end of the day to leave England in a perilous position. They're 112 for 5, just 74 runs ahead.
And England have lost the second test against India. They were skittled out for only 181 in their second innings, leaving India an easy target. Here's Sally Nugent.
England had been hoping to hang on for a draw. Before long, they were desperately trying to save face. Geraint Jones was the first of 3 quick wickets for India and their gifted young debutant, Munaf Patel. Matthew Hoggard bowled for just 4 with a toe-crushing ball. Andrew Flintoff was inspirational as stand-in captain, taking his 20th Test 50. But Flintoff's determination to pile on the runs was his undoing. England came out to field with India needing just 144 to win. They lost Wasim Jaffer with the score on 39, but that set up Rahul Dravid and Virender Sehwag. They added 105 to guide India home. Now England must look forward to the third and final test.
This side does scrap. We fight hard and there's a lot of character. And every quality we have is going to have to come to the party next week in Bombay.
The best England could hope for there is to square the series. Sally Nugent, BBC News.
now to cricket, and England have made a good start to the third test against India in Mumbai. Opening batsman Andrew Strauss scored 128, his first century at the tour. And the decision of Indian captain Rahul Dravid to put England in backfired further as Oais Shah made a half-century on his debut before retiring with cramps in his hands. England were 272 for 3 at the close. They need to win the match, of course, to draw the series.
England's cricketers had a mixed second day in the third and final test against India in Mumbai. Oais Shah came back from injury overnight to score 88 on his test debut, but England lost their last 6 wickets for just 74 runs and were all out for 400. Matthew Hoggard took 2 wickets to help reduce India to 89 for 3 at the close.
In a strong position after day 3 of the third and final test against India in Mumbai, James Anderson took 4 wickets as they bowled India out for 279, and by the close England had progressed to 31 for 2 in their second innings, giving them an overall lead of 152.
Cricket now, and England are in a strong position after day 3 of the third and final test against India in Mumbai. After bowling out India for 279, England ended the day with a lead of 152. Here's Andy Swiss.
England needed a good start, and they got one. Typically, it was Andrew Flintoff that made the breakthrough, but it was other players that really rose to the occasion, like wicketkeeper Geraint Jones, another spectacular effort accounting for Rahul Dravid. Not bad for a man whose catching has been under scrutiny. But the unlikeliest hero was James Anderson. He was only in the team because of England's injury crisis, but his superb throw accounted for Mahendra Dhoni, and his bowling was just as effective. With Jones now catching everything in sight, England were in control, and Anderson did the rest. Bowling. His 4th wicket giving England a healthy first innings lead of 121. All they needed now was a solid start from their batsmen. Wishful thinking. First Andrew Strauss and then Ian Bell succumbed, and a gripping finale to this match is now about the only certainty. Andy Swiss, BBC News.
Now, and England have set India a big target of 313 runs to win the third test in Mumbai. The highlight of England's second innings was this 6 from captain Andrew Flintoff. He scored a half-century as the tourists were bowled out for 191. Replying, India lost an early wicket to reach 18 for 1 at the close, still 297 runs behind. It sets up an exciting final day tomorrow. England must win the match to square the series.
In the cricket, India will have to post a record 4th innings total in Mumbai if they are to defeat England in the final test of the series. Day 4 wasn't exactly a thriller minute, the tourists only scoring 160 runs in almost an entire day. A half-century from Andrew Flintoff, one of the few highlights. At stumps, India were 18 for 1, some 295 short of the required total.
This was a day when it felt that cricket had gone into slow motion as England sought to grind out a lead big enough to give them a chance of victory. It took the Indian attack 14 overs even to bring to an end the vigil of night watchman Sean Udall. And they will have sensed England's growing unease when Anil Kumble spectacularly claimed Kevin Peterson's skull.
Well, he's taken a blinder.
Not bad for a 35-year-old who bowled far more overs than anyone. Owe Shah, again impressing on his debut, kept accumulating watchfully. But straight after lunch, having reached 38, he recklessly threw it away by badly misjudging a single. With England 85 for 5, captain Andrew Flintoff had to consolidate. Even so, he led a charmed life. Dhoni's missed stumping was to be costly, but it did make England adopt an overly defensive mindset. Not until after Paul Collingwood had been athletically snapped up by Harbhajan did Flintoff revert to more customary mode to reach his 4th successive half-century. He eventually went for exactly 50, but England, 313 ahead, had left time for only 9 overs at India's batsmen. That was enough for Anderson to remove Pathan, but they may well regret their slow progress tomorrow. Kevin Geary, BBC News.
And England's cricketers have pulled off a stunning victory in the 3rd and final test in India. They bowled out the home side's batsmen for just 100 runs, winning the game and levelling the series. Kevin Geary reports.
For Andrew Flintoff and his inexperienced, depleted team, this was a victory to rank almost alongside last summer's Ashes triumph. Without 5 of those heroes, they not only beat India in their Mumbai fortress, they humiliated them. Kumble, the first in a long procession back to the pavilion. Predictably, the skipper was leading from the front, taking the morning's 2nd wicket to banish any prospect of an unlikely home win. While the little master, Sachin Tendulkar, remained, a draw was still a possibility. But when Flintoff struck again to remove his opposite number Dravid, England scented blood. Next over, veteran spinner Sean Udall collected the great prize. Tendulkar smartly taken by Bell. And when Sehwag was trapped by Anderson, India had lost 3 wickets for only 2 runs and were into a meltdown typified by one of Test cricket's more bizarre interludes. Dhoni's wild swing sent a skyer towards Monty Panesar, but Monty had got completely the wrong map reference. Bemusement all round, which was compounded just 2 balls later when Dhoni did exactly the same ridiculous thing. This time Monty held his nerve and the ball. The end came swiftly. England had won by a whopping 212 runs.
We played some good stuff out here. And it's had one last push over these 4.5 days. And the manner in which we've played, we're taking on India with a young team. I think it's the first time we've won here in 20 years a test match. So, yeah, it's definitely up there.
They might have only drawn the series, but they'll feel like they've won it. Kevin Geary, BBC News.